Hi everyone, my name is Lucy. Welcome to my channel Simple Sunday Afternoons. Today I'm sharing with you a very special recipe. I'm making homemade Chicago deep dish pizza. So please join me in my kitchen and let me show you how I made this wonderful and delicious recipe. I am preparing the dough the night before, and it doesn't take long to prepare the dough. The measurements for each ingredient is in the description below this video. I'm using unbleached all-purpose flour, yellow cornmeal, instant or rapid rice yeast, and I'm using the envelope, but you can use the jar as well and then measure it. Sugar, and this is extra fine sugar. Table salt, unsalted melted butter, and I'm going to be using extra butter for later use. Olive oil, tap room temperature water, a big bowl, and I'm using my stand-up mixer with the dough hook. I am preparing the bowl by applying olive oil to the inside of the bowl. For the sauce ingredients, I'm going to be using a can of crushed tomatoes, a grated or minced onion, garlic cloves, salt and ground black pepper, dry oregano, and you can use the fresh kind, unsalted butter, sugar, olive oil, fresh chopped basil, and I'm also using parsley. For the topping ingredients, I'm going to be using pepperoni, Italian dry salami, and Italian sausage, which I'm going to be frying, shredded mozzarella and provolone, and also parmesan cheese. Inside the mixing bowl, I'm going to mix all of the dry ingredients for the dough: the unbleached all-purpose flour with the cornmeal, the sugar, the salt, and the yeast. And you can mix these dry ingredients with a fork as well. Also, you can mix the dough with your hands. Once the dry ingredients are all mixed together, then I add the water, and the water is room temperature with the butter, and I'm going to let it mix until everything comes into a cohesive ball. You will notice that the ball would become practically clean inside. That's when you know that the dough can be taken out and is ready. And you can always add more flour or more water to fix the consistency of the dough. I added 1 tablespoon of olive oil to the dough to finish kneading. Then I transferred to the bowl where I'm going to let it rest overnight. Make sure you spread olive oil all over the dough before you cover with saran wrap and let it rest overnight. Once the dough is out of the fridge, let it rest until it becomes to room temperature. Then have ready some butter and some flour. I have ready my rolling pin, a brush, and I'm preparing two 9-inch iron skillets. You can use two 9-inch baking pans, as long as they are at least 1 inch deep. The dough by now has become about double the size, so I'm punching it down, sprinkle some flour on my working surface, and I'm going to stretch the dough into a rectangle. You might have to apply some muscle on this process, and this is the hardest portion of making this pizza. Once we have stretched the dough into a rectangle, which is about 15 inches long by 12 inches wide, we're going to spread some butter with a brush. And then we're going to start rolling it. Roll the dough. Once it's a cylinder, then we kind of flatten the cylinder a little bit, not too much. And then we're going to cut it halfway, right in the center. And then we fold it in 3, making a ball, pinching it at the edge. Then place it in a bowl, make sure it has plenty of butter, and let it rest. Cover with saran wrap. It should double its size in about 1 hour. So in the meantime, we are making the sauce. In my sauce pot, I'm going to saute the onions using the 2 tablespoons of butter. Once the onions are translucent, then I add the garlic, followed by the oregano. And as I mentioned, you can use the fresh kind of oregano. Followed by the crushed tomatoes. Mix well, and then we can add the sugar. And sprinkle some salt and black ground pepper. I also added some parsley to this sauce, and this is optional. The amount of parsley is up to you. All depends how much you like to add parsley. Mix well, taste for salt before you cover and let it simmer for about 30 to 45 minutes in low temperature. Okay, so cover, lower the temperature and let it simmer. After about 30 minutes, we can turn off the stove for the sauce, and we can add the basil, some additional parsley, and the olive oil. This is about 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Mix everything well together and let it cool until it's time to assemble the pizza. Okay, so we are back into our working surface. I'm going to spread some flour, and then I'm going to start stretching the dough. I'm going to form a round shape big enough to cover the pizza pan. Once the dough is stretched enough, then I'm going to roll it in my rolling pin, able to put it on top of my pizza pan. Then I drop it on the pizza pan, and then I finish stretching it inside the pan. And I'm preheating the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit or 160 degrees Celsius. Once the pizza pans are covered with the dough, then I spread some olive oil over the dough, and I'm going to place these pans inside the oven for about 20 minutes. I like to place it in the oven before I put all of the ingredients into the pizza, that way it doesn't become saggy with all of the ingredients. The dough is out of the oven. As you can see, I can pick it up with my hands. It's hard enough for it not to become saggy with all the cheeses and ingredients I'm placing now. So I'm spreading some olive oil again before I start loading it with all of the ingredients. By now you should raise the temperature of your oven to 475 degrees Fahrenheit or 240 degrees Celsius. And for this kind of pizza, we place the cheeses first. We place a nice coating of the mozzarella mixed with provolone cheese. Followed by a good amount of sauce. Cover the whole bottom with the sauce. Then we can start adding the ingredients that we like the most. I'm going to put some Italian sausage, which I fried previously. Followed by some dry Italian salami. And you can use ham as well. Then I'm going to cover these two kind of meat with additional cheese. And top it all with my family favorite, which is the pepperoni. I also have parmesan cheese, so I'm going to sprinkle some parmesan cheese over the pepperoni. And I placed these pizzas in the oven until the cheese is completely melted and the crust is golden brown. These two gorgeous pizzas are out of the oven and ready to be served. They're nice, big, crunchy, juicy, gorgeous pizza. So I hope you like this recipe. If you like this video, don't forget to click like and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of this delicious recipe. I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.